We're at the Schomburg Research Center for Black Culture, Black Comic Book Convention. We're here with the brother.
My name is Alvin Ball. I'm the writer of One Nation. I'm the co-creator and writer of Kid Carvers. I'm also the writer and creator of Virgin Wolf, Dime, and I'm also a published author. My first crime novel came out. It's called Only the Holy Remain. Oh, yeah. Kid Carvers is basically about two twins, Marley and Charlie Carver, who are twin geniuses who decide to use their intellect in order to solve crimes in their neighborhood after a rash of bike thefts. And once the cops can't solve it, they decide, since the authorities can't do it, they're going to do it. So that's just the beginning of what we do. And then we jump into One Nation, which is created by Jason Reeves, who is the artist.
Jason Reeves of 133 Art. Yeah. I've been drawing since I was 3 years old. I started collecting comics at 10, and I've been creating comics since I was 10.
The artist and creator. And as you can see from this really beautiful figure that he has helped design, we're just all about African-American superheroes and people of color being not only positive figures for younger generations, but for older generations as well.
It's the most important to our community, because our community needs to be able to see us in excellent positions and at an excellent stature. We need to be heroes. We need to be professionals. We need to be proficient. We need to be intelligent. We need to be every facet of excellence. And as an artist, I feel like it's my charge to put us on display as that.
And with One Nation, it's the story of a young man named Deacon Taylor who reveals to the world during the first Gulf War that he has these superhuman abilities, only to discover that he's not the only one in this world. And because he's been forced to hide his abilities, he saves his unit from an insurgent attack and reveals to the world that he has these abilities, and is forced into a war between all the world governments because everyone wants to control him. And then we jump over to do some F00 Fighters, which is basically a story set during World War II about this secret alien invasion that the government uncovers. And what they do is that they bring forces together, or should I say pilots from allied and excess groups together. So imagine you got U.S. Red Tails, Tuskegee Airmen, along with German fighters and Russian fighters and Japanese fighters. They're all coming together in order to fight this alien invasion. But first, they got to try not to kill each other in order to try to stop this alien invasion. So that's something that Jason also, he's the artist and creator of that. And then,
I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Now I live in California, in L.A., and I graduated from the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. And I decided to become a professional illustrator in 2006. And I started up 133 Art, and comics has always been my love. It's like the love of my life. So I decided to start self-publishing comics in 2012 with One Nation. The inspiration for One Nation was just what you asked me, trying to have our characters in position of black excellence. I wanted a black hero to save us.
For Kid Carvers, it was a co-creation of me, Jason, and a couple other people. I'm a big cartoon fan, so I love everything cartoon and animated, and I have two kids. So when Jason started, he was like, man, I got this idea for something that I want to do kids-wise, and it's called Kid Carvers. I was like, okay, it's cool. When he started talking about it, what ended up happening for me is that ideas just started spurring. I kept seeing all these different characters.
The inspiration for our newest book, Kid Carvers, is just our little nieces and nephews, our little cousins who need representation. Little black kids need to be heroes too.
And then for me, I write crime novels. So my first crime novel, Only the Holy Remain, just came out, and it's the story of a former Marine chaplain turned homicide detective who's investigating the murder of a priest, only to uncover a conspiracy that reaches to their days in Fallujah, Iraq. And then I'm also the creator and writer of Virgin Wolf, which is a tale of a young woman who was hunting the father of all werewolves in 1605. And then last but not least, I am the creator and writer of Dime, which is a choose-your-own-adventure story about a young detective who's hired by a wealthy philanthropist to find her husband's killer. So that's the gist of everything that we do.
It's going pretty well, man. Like, we're trying to branch out and get it out there. We're a full-fledged self-publisher. We print all our books. We distribute all our books. So it's been going really well. We've been
but like I said, Kid Carvers is the first new book that's come out that we're doing mainly for kids, and we do a companion actually issue to that called Kid Carvers ABC, which is for younger readers that haven't that can't read, but we do an ABC book that talks about all these cultural things that happen in New Orleans because it's set in New Orleans. So we do an ABC book about all these different things that occur in New Orleans.
So we're a full-fledged self-publisher. We publish all our books. Every book is touched by our hands. We distribute our books, and it's a good journey trying to get ourselves through without having to do traditional publishing. We like to have our hands on all of our product.
Yeah, but the inspiration for a lot of this stuff just comes from my love of books and literature and storytelling. One of my most influential writers is Walter Mosley, and the other one is Flannery O'Connor. So it's like there's two different spectrums, because at the time that Flannery O'Connor was alive, she was basically a bigot. Like, if you read some of her work, she's got the N-word flying left and right, you know. But if you look at Walter Mosley, he's talking about the current state of society and how they treat the black man. So it's like two different writers from two different spectrums, you know, clash together, and then you get me, I guess. And so for me, the inspiration is always around me. It's from so many different things. Like, I'm a big for when I did Virgin Wolf, I drew a lot of my inspiration from from Alexander Dumas, who a lot of people don't know was a black Frenchman. And so you got Three Musketeers, you got The Man in the Iron Mask, you got The Count of Monte Cristo, and a lot of young people and even older people don't know that Alexander Dumas was a black Frenchman. And so me, upon learning that, I started reading another book about his father, Alex Dumas, who was a great general in the French army who was betrayed by Napoleon. And so it's stuff like that you wonder, like, if we knew the history of these people, does it change the outcome of who we are as a people? So, you know, that's what inspires me.
Yeah, I like that. You went right to that lane. That's what I'm at. You know what I mean? Because, you know, history, some people feel like history don't matter. Like, oh, they don't got nothing to do with what we're doing now. But the decisions that people make today affect tomorrow, and they're usually based on past factors.
Yes.
And the people that control the world, they never throw away any past factor to move on to another thing.
Right.
So when our people be like, oh, we gotta let that go and we need to move on to this, we just sound crazy.
Right. Like my writing partner, because I write film and TV also, my writing partner put me up on Leopold, King Leopold, who massacred millions of Africans. But I'm like, you don't hear his name next to Hitler, and he's worse than Hitler.
And you know, that was like the prequel to
right.
the what you call it, Holocaust.
Yes.
They practice a lot on our people.
Right, right. So when people talk about Hitler, I'm like, well, you should be mentioning King Leopold, because this dude was worse than him, because he just went through and he systematically, he even. No, I don't even want to say systematic. He didn't even care about the system. He was like, we just gonna go through and try to wipe out the entire race, you know? So it's stuff like that where I'm constantly educating myself, but trying to educate young readers and older readers through what I write. So for instance, when I wrote Dime, I love film noir, you know? And it's like, you never see an African-American detective in film noir. And it's like, why not? Because that's us. We are noir. We are, you know, hard-boiled detectives, because we go against the grain of this society. So I'm always influenced by a lot of different things as a writer, you know? So that's me, Alvin Ball. Yeah, I want to tell people that if you're creating, keep writing, keep reading, because that's the only way our message is going to get out there. Nobody's going to give you a shot until you actually create that shot.
You want to say something about that?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the importance of representation. I just was talking about like how when Lord of the Rings came out, I love those movies, but sitting there, I realized something as I was watching it. Everybody around me could see themselves in that movie, but I couldn't see myself in that movie. From the hero to the villain, you know, and all I kept thinking, clearly, am I an orc? Is that the only thing I can kind of look like? But even then, they don't look like me. And so what I ended up doing after seeing it is I started realizing that the representation matters. And so what I did is that I teamed up with an artist named Serena Guerrera, and we started writing a fantasy series that's going to come out this year called Gills, because I started realizing that representation matters. When you see yourself on film and books or even in comics, it matters because it reflects back on you that you can do better and that we can be better. Like one of my favorite characters in the story is this character named Caesar, this Mexican kid named Caesar, and he's a bully. But the reason I like him is because he's not your traditional bully. He's a bully whose very essence is that he's good with numbers. He's a mathematician. And the reason I like him so much is because he has a crush on Marley. And so every time he sees Marley, he gets like these butterflies in his stomach, and he's like, he doesn't become a bully, he becomes like this love-struck guy. And so it's stuff like that. But
my favorite characters is these two kids right here, Marley and Charlie Carver, the Kid Carvers. They're my favorites at the moment.
See the youth them eating it up over there.
This is the best.
Thank you.
Can I get you on camera?
Yes.
Say it again.
I would love to give you a hug, man.
Say it again.
I ain't trying to steal your man. Thank you for doing this for children.
Thank you for
because
supporting
we
it.
can't find ourselves in the art. So thank you. He's 4 going on 40 and he can read. So
Good word.
you know what I'm saying?
Thank
He's 4 and he
Great
can
word.
read. So we're getting him almost 6 years old, but he'll be 5 in March.
Oh, okay.
And the companion book helps him to figure out the characters.
Right.
This is wonderful. Thank you.
He needs to read it. Good.
See that?
Sure.
You getting
I thank you.
accolades already, bro. Thank you very much.
you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook at ALVERNEBALLL, or you can find 133 Art, which is the publisher of Kid Carvers, One Nation, and Foo Fighters, at 133art.com. You can also find them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at 133art.com, or 133art, I should say. Thank you so much.